All right, and we are live today talking a little bit about the episode that just dropped yesterday on the Jamming with Jason podcast. Love coming on here and doing these live. And we're going to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome because yesterday's episode was actually on how to beat imposter syndrome. Now, you might be thinking, that's not me. I don't need to worry about it. Well, whether you realize it or not, 70 to 80% of people actually struggle with this, which means unless you're in that 20 to 30%, this might also affect you. And I know when I talked a little bit before about this, a lot of people were like, "Wow, I never actually realized that I had that." But it's nice to actually have a name and be able to talk about what I have been feeling. So, we're going to get to that in just a minute. Again, just with any time that I come on here live, a couple things for you that you can help me with. First off, is if you're here with me live, go ahead and type in the comments area. So that way I know that you're actually here, right? Because I'm doing this through a streaming software to various platforms at the same time. And so sometimes it takes a little while for the platforms to catch up. So it's always nice for me to know that you're here with me. And that's a couple of benefits for that. First one is if you're here with me live and you have some questions or you want to chat, then making sure and putting something in the comments area, I can actually answer your questions while we're here on the live. If you catch this later, then you can always, again, leave a comment because I come back onto these posts afterwards and answer questions for people who were not live during the show. But anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about the episode on the Jamming with Jason podcast that dropped yesterday. It was called "How to Beat Imposter Syndrome," and I talked with one of my friends, Sam, who was actually an expert in imposter syndrome. So he's done a bunch of studying about this and actually helps people with this. So first off, you might be saying, well, what is this? And so, again, imposter syndrome is this sneaky little thing, right? But what ends up happening is it's a fear that you have that your own inadequacies, and again, these inadequacies can be real or they might just be perceived, but that you will be exposed to your peers and discredited for your accomplishments. And so the tricky thing is, and again, especially for a lot of the people that I work with, sometimes you feel like an imposter is a word that's used. Another word that often people use is, I feel like a fraud. Okay. And for somebody who is, you know, excuse me, in internal audit, in fraud, investigations and some of those things, to say the F word, right? And that it's not the other F word that you normally think about, but the fraud word makes people feel really horrible. And it's a sneaky little thing, this imposter syndrome, because in fact, what ends up happening is the people who actually know the most are the ones who this affects more often. And the reason for that is that they know that they don't know as much. Okay. So people that have no clue what they're talking about, they don't have any idea that they don't know. They're pretty confident and everything seems to be fine for them. So what's interesting is people who actually know the most are the ones who tend to be affected by this most often. Now, again, I've seen this in my own life. I've seen this with lots of people that I've worked with, that I've coached, family, friends, have talked about this with me, because here's the reality: we all have inadequacies. I don't know everything. I'm sure you don't know everything. Is that okay? Absolutely. Okay, I hope so. It's okay not to know everything. But the problem is that we are afraid, or there's some things that we attach to our knowing. And we're afraid that if people find out that we don't know as much as they think we do, that they're not going to like us as people. And that fear of abandonment or fear of being rejected by people around you is one of the biggest fears that almost everyone has. And so, again, because of that, you need to stop and kind of ask yourself some questions. Do you have to know everything? Absolutely not. You don't have to know everything. But I'm not going to get into all the details on that here. Again, this live is just to kind of let you know that the episode dropped. There's a lot of good information in that episode. So to find that, you can find it on my website at jasonnefford.com/jamming with Jason. And you can also find it really anywhere that podcasts are played on any of the different platforms. So again, if you're here with me live, go ahead and hit me up in the comments area so that I know that you're here. And if anybody has any questions about what we've been talking about so far, make sure and let me know. Because like I said, I usually like to come on here, talk a little bit about what I need to talk about or what I need to feel like I need to share with you. But I'm also here to answer questions for people as they might have them. So here I am. Are you here? And I'm just talking to myself, so I can pretty much say whatever I want anyway, right? But yeah, so that episode is out at jasonnefford.com/jamming with Jason. You can find that out there. And I'll catch you, it looks like, on the next live that I do in another day or so. So take care and have a great rest of your day.